Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Breaking news as we took to the air an hour ago. I'll just catch you up. There was a lockdown, not a shutdown. The shutdown, of course, is in effect, but a lockdown in and around the Capitol in Washington, D.C. People were told to stand down and stay put and close their windows, stay away from the windows, lock their doors, etc. This all, as it turned out, was the result of shots fired. Shots were fired at the end of a car chase that started reportedly at the White House when a car crashed into a barrier, and then they led the police on a chase to the Capitol. The driver, apparently a female, got out of the car, was shot by the police. We have one officer injured, flown to a nearby hospital. There were reports that the woman driver was killed. That's not been confirmed by the police. Also reports of a child in the car unharmed, not confirmed by the police. No apparent tie to terrorism. We had Congressman Peter King on earlier. Of course, he said that one of the first things that go through your mind when you're in the midst of this and being told to stay put and duck, in effect, is that terrorism could be a factor. But right now they say no terrorism involved. We'll bring you the latest updates as we go along on the Steve Malzberg Show. But right now we're joined by a very dear friend. I'm always proud to say, the Director of African American Outreach for Priests for Life and Gospel of Life Ministries, author and Newsmax contributor, Dr. Alveda King. Hey, Doctor, how are you?
Wonderful, Steve. How are you? And I was just listening. Can you help me understand, because we're getting news reports, but you're probably getting more than we are. Did the lady get out of the car and start shooting?
Well, that's unclear whether or not she started shooting or not. She got out of the car, and they say shots were exchanged. When they held their press briefing, the Capitol police officer who was giving it was not very helpful in giving information. He wouldn't even say if the reports that she had been killed were true or not, wouldn't say if there was a child in the car or not, which obviously they know. So I don't think we know all the information just yet. But this car crashed the barrier at the White House, apparently, or a barrier, hit a police officer on the way during the chase, and the police fired and said they didn't know that there was a kid in the car when they fired, but thank God that child was not apparently hurt.
Well, Steve, I'm serious. I am praying for sanity.
Yeah.
To blow over Washington, D.C. I really am. And I wrote that in my latest blog over at on my African American Outreach blog, and that's before this even happened. So, oh my goodness.
Well,
okay.
I know, Doctor, you wrote, and what drew me to you in particular today is that I received an email of your writings talking about the shutdown, the government shutdown,
yes.
And how this had been predicted by a friend of yours, correct?
It has been. I have a prophetic friend. I'm not sharing his name. Have known him and his wife for a long time. There are many people that I pray with, and sometimes they get prophetic messages. You know, my uncle was a prophet, Martin Luther King Jr. You know that. So we get these prophetic warnings or messages, and we had this. He really did say there may be some kind of a system breakdown, a system shutdown. And we began to pray even then, back then, because, you know, that's America. We keep going through some very traumatic experiences, through the weather, through the bombings, through the shootings. And there's only so much that people can bear. So I'm really praying again. I've been praying, but we've got to keep praying. And this system shutdown, honest to goodness, nobody wants to hear this. But the big argument is really around Planned Parenthood and free birth control and easy access to abortions. And that's where they're stuck. But most of the media won't even touch it.
Well, that goes without saying they won't touch it. But obviously you're correct. One of the major points in Obamacare that the Republicans have objected to, and that if they knew about it, most of America would object to, is that government employees will get abortion paid for by the taxpayers, and that's against the law, first of all.
And free contraceptives that give women strokes and heart attacks. And, you know, I work for Priests for Life. That's the Catholic pro-life organization. I'm a non-denominational director of African American Outreach, but I'm a part of the suit from Priests for Life because they've not satisfied us. It's very possible that priests could still be required to offer insurance to us that gives free birth control and easy access to abortions. And I was a victim of abortion. I was tricked and fooled by Planned Parenthood years ago, ended up with phlebitis from those horrible contraceptives, damage from the abortions that I had to have surgery for. It was a nightmare. So now we've got legislation that they're insisting that employees help to pay for insurance to give more poison to women and kill more babies. And that is really what this shutdown argument is about.
All right. And I also want to go back to your friend, because you said that your friend put an entry a few weeks ago into his
blog. He has a
his blog, and said, we will be experiencing financial transition during the month of October this year. Everything that will be happening will not be seen by the public. However, at this point, the impact of what has been planned may not be as powerful as some would have liked. And they say that there are those in he said there are those in high offices, or she said, and behind the scenes that had planned this quote-unquote system failure to take a huge toll on the American people. I mean, did your prophet friend give you any more information than he?
Well, there is some more, but I'm really not able to share it right now. But if you look back to 17 years ago, when the Democrats and Republicans did a different shutdown, and those things are planned, and they get together behind, it was President Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich, between the two of them, in their leadership positions, there was a government shutdown for about 3 weeks. I don't know if people remember that.
Yeah, about 18 days, I think. Yep.
Oh, okay, close to 3 weeks. And so now again, with this shutdown, it's supposed to send Americans into a tailspin and a panic. People are supposed to be upset, capitulate, and accept that ludicrous, horrible Obamacare, because they feel like, oh, everybody's going to not be able to eat, won't have a house, everything at the walls, Chicken Little, the sky is going to fall in. So they create these panics to get what they want. And my friend really did. I promise you, my friend said there may be some kind of shutdown in October. He really did.
What did your friend predict for the end game?
No, well, right now there's not a lot more, but based upon past history of 17 years ago, we do know that shutdowns can be orchestrated. We know that this one has happened. And now we just have to see, will America be strong enough to say to D.C., this is ridiculous, this is enough? Because now the administration and Congress can continue to get their paychecks. And I guess their rationale is, well, we have to resolve this, so we have to still go to work. We can't not give up our money. And I know it was some kind of constitutional decision a while back that allows them to continue to be paid when they shut the government down and still get their checks. But I just think it's all unfair, and I do think some of it is orchestrated.
All right. Well, let me. I want you to hear a soundbite. This took place between Dana Bash of CNN and Harry Reid, the majority leader. What the Republicans have done is they've passed in the House various bills keeping different parts of the government open. For instance, the National Institute of Health, because Democrats had complained that kids with cancer couldn't get experimental treatments that they needed. So the House passed a bill that sent it on to the Senate that said, okay, let's fund the National Institute of Health. And Harry Reid said, no, we're not going to pass it. And here's the exchange. I hope I got the right cut here. Here's 53. Give a listen.
But if you can help one child who has cancer, why wouldn't you do it?
Listen.
Why pit one against the other?
Why would we want to do that? I have 1,100 people at Nellis Air Force Base that are sitting home. They have a few problems of their own. This is to have someone of your intelligence suggest such a thing. Maybe means you're irresponsible.
All right, so he insulted her intelligence and said she was being irresponsible. All she said was, if you could save one kid with cancer,
why wouldn't you do it?
And he said, why would I?
Why would I want to do
yeah,
that?
because he said,
oh
I got.
My God.
Yeah, I mean, what was your reaction?
I think that's absolutely. He showed his true colors. Didn't mean to. That's what I think. He says, why should we try to save a kid? You know, it's almost like you heard about the starfish poem. The little boy was throwing the starfish back into the sea, and the old man said, well, you can't save all of them. Well, you can't make a difference. He said it made a difference to that one. So you want to save children when you can. And he says, why would I want to do that? Oh, my God.
And then he went on. And then he went on to say, "I have 1,200 people that are on furlough in my home state at an Air Force base. They have their own problems." Comparing people temporarily out of work with a kid with cancer. I mean,
a child who's suffering pain and sickness. That's just terrible. But that's how I'm telling you, out of touch.
Do you see a correlation there between what he said and the Democrats and his views on right to life and abortion?
Babies in the womb? Why do we want to say babies in the womb? Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah.
And it's still, if you will not let us give Planned Parenthood more money because they're the top abortion providers and they dispense free poison birth control. If you don't let us give them even more money than the millions we're giving them every year, we're shutting down the government. That's honestly what they're saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Doctor, I know you just got off a plane. I know you made accommodations for us. It's always a great honor to talk to you, and I thank you very much.
I really appreciate it. See you, Steve.
All right,
Thank
take care. Dr. Alveda King, ladies and gentlemen, the niece. I did not mention this at the beginning because to me it goes without saying, but the niece of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., her father himself, a civil rights activist who was slain as well, and she's just a great lady. And she doesn't get the media exposure that some other family members of the King family get because she made her life's work right to life. And the sanctity of life and saving little unborn babies. And the media doesn't like that. And Harry Reid, you know, has a problem. Why would I want to save one kid with cancer? I got people out of work because of this shutdown. They got their own problems. I mean, my guy. Now, today he said, oh, I didn't mean that. Of course, anybody who knows me knows, you know, I have 10 grandchildren. I don't care. You said what you said. That exchange went on for about 2.5 minutes. It's not like you slipped and said something you didn't mean and oh my God, you immediately tried to retract it. Not only did you say what you said, Mr. Majority Leader, but then you conducted a war on a woman by attacking the questioner, the female reporter, Dana Bash. And I know that before this lockdown at the Capitol, it was all going to be taken care of. It was all going to go away. They were going to kiss and sing Kumbaya because Dana Bash was actually in Harry Reid's office waiting for him to come do a one-on-one interview so they could have put a puff piece together and a softball interview, and he would have hugged her and kissed her and said, I love you. I think you're great. And you know I didn't mean what I said. I know, Senator. I know. You're under a lot of pressure. Oh, I love you, Dana. They were waiting. She was in the office. They were waiting to do that interview, and then the lockdown, the shots fired, the lockdown at the Capitol, which, if you're just tuning in, has been resolved. It was a car chase that ended at the Capitol, went from the White House to the Capitol. The driver shot by police. Child found in a car, safe and sound. 2 people taken to the hospital. Original reports were that the driver, the female, was killed. That's not been confirmed. We have the police officer who was injured and the woman who was injured or killed taken to the hospital. No report on their condition. So we'll bring it to you when we get it. 855-777-9660. How interesting is the story of Alveda King that her prophet friend predicted the government shutdown and said that the government was conspiring to do this to hurt the American public. Interesting stuff. You believe that? You buy that? 855-777-9660. On the Steve Malzberg Show, day number 3 of my antibiotic regimen. I hope it's working because I don't want pneumonia on Newsmax TV and radio.